reality is I'm not supposed to be here. Single mom, divorced. I'm not college educated. I have some college credits, rather. I don't have a degree. Just where I grew up and where I live, mostly everybody is dead or in jail. But when I turned about 24, 25, I'm like, this is not the life for me. I need to do something different. And so I really started to dream again. And I just knew it was just so much more for me. And so, so even having that background, that's why I try to tell people, it doesn't matter. You can begin again. Your past is just that, it's the past. They called me to the office and they were going to lay me off. But the office manager had told them, well, Rochelle has her own company. And so instead of getting laid off, they hired me as a subcontractor. The first contract was like for $280,000.
Oh, wow. You started big. That is like all of your family's income. How long after that came the second one?
The second one probably came about a month after, and then it started right after that first one ended. Like, it's doing the same for like the third one. It's ended and this next one is starting up. So
today I want to welcome Rochelle Belmonte. She's actually the CEO of R&B Mechanical. So Rochelle, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So I like to ask people, especially us, because I don't think we ever think we want to do construction or go into the field and things like that. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Wow. Actually, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I let people around me tell me what I wanted to be because I just didn't know. I used to like dinosaurs. So
Okay.
I wanted to be an archaeologist. Is that what, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to look for the fossils, like when I was a kid, and find dinosaur fossils or whatever. And but everybody was like, oh, you're so smart, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, the normal
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
The ones that we think success are.
Right. And then when I got older, I started wanting to be a dentist. I just like have this thing for clean teeth. And,
that's why your teeth are so pearly white.
Right. But I got braces now.
Oh.
But I'm keeping my space. So
Okay.
But anyway,
it defines you. You're so
right.
like, that is what makes you and unique.
Right. And so I was like, oh, I want to be a dentist. But at the same time, I was thinking about construction because I would watch like HGTV, when all that stuff started coming on TV. I just really got into it and really excited about it. I'm like, man, I would love to do something like that, but you only saw women doing it on TV.
Okay.
And so at the age of 21, I actually tried to get into the construction field and trades. And I mean, it was just difficult. I was calling companies and it was just like a runaround. And so when that didn't work out, I went back to school for a dental hygienist.
Okay.
So I started that, and then I got pregnant with my son, who's now 14.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like sick all the time. So I had to go back to work. And yeah. So
where were you working then?
I was working at like AT&T or I was doing call center jobs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to go back because I was, I had to take some time off from school. And then when I took the time off from school after I had him, I mean, I just had to go back to work. I just couldn't afford to go back to school. Things change. And so just call center jobs, and I just hated it. And it paid well,
Okay.
But I just hated it. And so one day I was at church, and, we have all these programs for low income or disadvantaged or whatever, and so this girl was like, oh, they have a construction program at this workforce center. And so I was like, wow, let me check this out. So I checked it out. I joined. It was like an 8-week program. I quit my job. Like, I didn't even have a job at the time because it was like the program was like from 7:30 to 4:00. And
so it's like full time.
full time, and then I had to be home in the evenings because I had children. And so I just saved what I could. I quit my job, and then I learned about all the trades, and I found out how to enter the trades. Here, St. Louis is a union
Oh,
city.
okay.
So, they just do things differently. And I start learning who people were and learning who the contractors were. And then they will pull apprentices from those programs. And so the reality is I'm not supposed to be here, single mom, divorce. I'm not college educated. I have some college credits, rather. I don't have a degree. Just where I grew up and where I live, mostly everybody is dead or in jail. My brother, I have a brother who was murdered. My kid's father was murdered. I kind of, when I got out of my mom's house, I kind of was out there doing my own thing. I used to sell a lot of weed. Like I have like 100 pounds of weed sitting in my basement because that was my way of life. Like that's how I lived, and it was normal. And but when I turned about 24, 25, I'm like, this not the life for me. I need to do something different. And so I really started to dream again. I really started to want more for myself. And I just knew it was just so much more, for me. And so, so even having that background, that's why I try to tell people, it doesn't matter. You can begin again. You can start over. Your past is just that, it's the past. So, I'm be the first person in my family that's the entrepreneur. And, people still can't believe it, that you're doing this, or do you really got a business, or who you? It's like, yeah, me, I'm not that person who I used to be, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I give it to you. Like my hands down are to you, because it's just incredible to hear those stories and to see you here now. It's like I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing how much faith you have still. And like you said, everything you've gone through, and you've kept that faith, and it's even grown even bigger to keep going and be where you are today, and show everyone that. And I think this is the important part of doing this podcast, like to show everyone that we come from different walks of life. Right. Like many of us come from very different walks of life, not easy ones either. But we are here now. And that's what's important. And we want to show those, like you said, those people that are in some ways where you were a few years ago, so that it's going to be okay. And if they have that dream, that they're able to go after it with a little bit of work and a lot of dedication. Like you're able to.
Oh yeah. A lot of work, a lot of mind change, mind renewal. Like you can't think the way, my whole mind just starts shifting and changing. Because even growing up, how I grew up, I thought that I was just destined to live that.
Hold on.
Go back to church. And is it still freezing up? Yeah. And so my mind just started changing, and even joining like GovCon Giants, like, the way Eric talks, like you can do anything. Don't let anything stop you. So what if they say no? So what if you can't get this or that? Like it can happen. There is another way, and so coming into this community too has been amazing, because the people around me, they don't see the vision. They don't understand. They can't speak the life into you that you need to hear. Maybe it's a bad day, then you have a meeting, and then you hear Eric say something and you say something and somebody else say something. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need. So like just that positivity, like all things are possible for real, as we say here. For real.
That's incredible. Like, I don't even have words to even like ask anything right now. That's amazing. Like, you made me cry.
I love this group. I know this, probably focusing on me or whatever, but this group, like even just with my contracts, like I'm on 3 government contracts. I'm working on another contract with another company who's outside of the company I've been working in. They're, it's been hard for me trying to get the estimating done, but they're like giving me all the programs and doing all the estimating. Even with my material, I've had material that costs $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, but I don't have to pay for it now. So it's like they are, the prime contractors are paying for the stuff for me. Eric was like, I can't even get that deal. So when it's supposed, no matter, you can't make excuses. You just have to go after it. You have to fight for it. You have to take it. You gotta wait on it. You gotta be patient. You may gotta scream sometimes or whatever, but you just can't stop. You just can't quit. So, some people like in the trades around me, they were trying to start their own company. Some had 20 plus years and some had degrees, and like they were like, how did you, because they were struggling trying to get certifications and approved and this and that, and like it's destined. It was destined for me. So yeah.
How did you feel when you got that first contract, like you as your company?
Yeah, it was like I didn't scream, I didn't shout, I didn't cry. It was just a shock where I was just quiet. It was just like frozen, like just I'm here, just really receiving that and looking back at all the, like I said, hard work, where I come from, where my family come from. My grandmother tells stories of picking cotton. My mom has her stories of just coming over here, working in housekeeping, working hard. And then it's like, here I am with my first contract. Each generation is doing better, so just, it was very thankful and just, yeah, like, wow.
How much was it for?
The first contract was like for $280 some thousand.
Oh, wow. You started big.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, outside of the duct cleaning, let's count the duct cleaning was 10,000, right?
Okay.
And my first construction was like $280 some thousand.
Wow. That is like all of your family's income in years put together. That is, I think I would have been in shock too.
Yeah.
And how long did you guys, from the start to the finish, how long was it?
So all the labor is done. We're still buying some materials. So we probably have about 15% left as for material costs and stuff, but all the labor is done. It's completed on
it. Okay. Yeah. So you got all your team working and they're doing it. Like, this is yours.
Right. And it's me, and I have 2 employees. So I have a apprentice. I was an apprentice, and then I have a foreman and me. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. How long after that came the second one?
The second one probably came about a month after, and then it started right after that first one ended. So it's like that first one's ended and the second one started, and then like it's doing the same for like the third one. It's ended and this next one is starting up. So yeah, so it's good because it's just everything is just falling in its place.
It's flowing. It's a constant flow of work.
Yeah.
And what are you working on now? Is it in St. Louis area?
Yeah, it's in St. Louis. It's in downtown St. Louis, and used to be a YMCA. And so they're changing it to a hotel, and it's like a museum hotel. Yeah. So So from my understanding is some guy and woman, they have a lot of money and they have a lot of artwork. And so they want to display their artwork, and they're building a hotel and putting the artwork in the hotel.
Oh,
So
fancy people.
very fancy. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's crazy. So how has your life changed since that day? Since you first started all this craziness and you got your first contract and
The main thing for me being a mother is that I get to spend the time with them that I always wanted. I can take my son to school. If something, if I need to be there during the day at the school, I can be there and take my daughter to school. Like, it's just, I can be there for them because, I can schedule that time. I can take a meeting if I want to, if I don't want to. So that's near and dear to my heart, being able to do that, because I was being this. Okay. Yeah, we take a weekend trip. I take a lot of more weekend trips, just get away from St. Louis and do some camping and more family time.
yeah.
So
Eric just said the other day, he's like, the most precious, most valuable thing, and this is what people strive for, is freedom.